Hello, I'm Daisy Mack. Welcome into Spiritual Mixtape. Today we are going on a partly breath. We're going to use our breath in a meditation to create a sense of certainty when we're facing confusion. So what this is really about, it kind of links to Friday's episode where I talk a bit about my life lately. I have definitely been in a place where stepping out into this new world, this new career, leaving behind my old career, I haven't always had crystal clear clarity. And when I was in my old career, it was clear to see where I was going. You were either going to end up running a major label or that's what people were working towards. You're going to run a major label, manage a major artist. The pathway is clear. When I set up a spiritual business, because I knew I needed to heal and never be under the stress that I was under before, and also I just wanted to help people. This definitely goes back to seeing how much my dad suffered with cancer and just wanting to leave the world in a better place than I came into the world, which when you look around right now seems like a very lofty, high, difficult thing to do. But as I say to my friends, I said it to my friend Abby the other day on her podcast, if the world was just able to get to a 6 out of 10 rather than a 4 out of 10, wouldn't that be better than living in the 4? 100%. So I'd say that also my expectations of life have definitely changed. And that also creates confusion because things are not clear. When there isn't an obvious path to follow, staying on the path, being your hero, being on your hero's journey can seem like it takes up more energy than it really gives. So today I have a really lovely playlist. I truly think it's special. And I'm just going to bring up a little timer here as well so I don't run over. But I have a very lovely playlist, which amazing Sean will put into this podcast episode today. But we are going to figure out where you're feeling confusion. And we are going to start to look towards clarity. But really, the main thing that we want, the intention for today's practice, is to create certainty. If you are certain about the direction you are going in, you don't need every part to be clear. You don't need crystal clear clarity. You just need to feel sure in your body that you aren't marching backwards. I have definitely marched backwards lately, by the way, and some of that is really, really good hindsight. Some of the energy of disappointment, I've been really quick stepping it in the wrong direction. The thing that I have now, though, is a great support network and also real emotional resilience that I can be like, okay, let's quickly look at this and change direction. So this is one of the practices that I use. I use this slightly differently. I like to use it at night. I like to look at the day before I sleep, think about whether I'll definitely ask Sean to put this in the show notes. Am I happy with the decisions I made today? Oof. It's a really good one if you're looking for clarity and certainty in your life. Am I happy with the decisions I made today? And I definitely have a few very special Daisy type questions. Let me give them to you. I wasn't necessarily going to use these, but why not give them to you? What am I creating or what am I trying to create in order to not deal with X? That is something I do all the time. I like to build bridges over problems rather than just dealing with the problem, because I don't particularly love confrontation. So I'll add that question as well. And where do I need help or support? So I'll add those 3 notes into the show notes, or those 3 ideas, contemplations, into the show notes. You should keep them in a journal. You should keep them on your phone. And honestly, when you're feeling confused, or when you're feeling like you lack a clear direction, contemplate those questions. They will at least give you a framework for whether you need to sit still, let the fog lift, or whether you're okay to move forward in the fog. You've got inner GPS that's going to get you exactly where you need to go. And in the interim of all of that, let's do this breath work and meditation practice. So always, if you are driving your car, if you're operating machinery, I really encourage you to put this on pause, come back to it later when you won't be disturbed, when you can sit in your own space and take in the present moment and be completely engaged with practice. I do use a breath pattern called a recovery breath. You don't need to use this, but what is amazing for you to do is take deep breaths, to breathe in to your body rather than just the top of your chest, to breathe in and try and move your breath past your heart down into your belly. When you breathe past the heart, what's happening is just underneath the lungs is the diaphragm. And when the diaphragm engages, it pushes down on your organs. That's what makes the soft belly rise. But when it comes back up, it gives a little fist pump to the heart. And that feels like a massage. It's like someone's like, you know, when you get someone on your shoulders and they're like kneading your shoulders. That's what it feels like for the heart. And it's the only time in the whole of your life that the heart gets some support. And if you think about that question I just gave you of like how much easier clarity is to find when you feel supported, when you've got the right help. Imagine the heart beats 100,000 times a day, and when you and it seeks for nothing. That's its function. But our bodies were so smart that they did evolve with a way to take care of the heart if you just breathe deeply. Oh, I think it's so amazing. So I do encourage a recovery breath. And if you don't want to take a recovery breath, then just breathe deeply. Now you know that you're looking after your heart. I feel like any resistance to breathing deeply should go in that moment. There's also a ton of other reasons. You can look back. We'll link it at the bottom as well. I have a breath work called Press Pause. And that helps with anxiety. And I explain a little bit more on the science of the breath. But because we are already 8 minutes in, I am going to keep moving forward with this practice today. So get really comfortable. You can do this practice lying down or sitting up. If you are sitting up, always find integrity from the bottom of your spine to the nape of your neck. And if you're sitting up, I invite you to tuck your chin into your chest and breathe deep. Palms however you want, up to receive or just neatly in your lap. And just arrive. Keep breathing. And really start to slow the breath. It's more relaxing for the body to breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. And with each breath you take, allow yourself to become more in the present moment, more grounded. And if you are so stressed that feels frustrating, just take as deep a breath as you can, knowing that we'll be out of this soon. You can get back to whatever you started. But for now, what you are doing is connecting to your body, creating a healthy bridge between how you feel currently and how you'd like to feel, knowing that this will help to lower stress at the very least. If you're going to use the recovery breath, now is the moment to introduce it. It's 2 inhales for every exhale. You breathe first into the belly, then into the chest, and out again. Breathing in, and letting go. If you have any medical conditions, if you're pregnant, just take deep breaths. Don't worry about taking 2. And let's start from the top of our head, just becoming aware of any tension. Really allowing on the exhale for any parts of your head that are tense to release any of that pressure. So between the brows, into the jaw, any clenching of the teeth, moving down from the head into the shoulders, rolling them back, loosening at the throat, into the chest, and as the tension releases from the upper torso, let's focus on the belly, any knots in the stomach. And let everything dissolve away. Move into the hips. Into the knees. Into the ankles. Now, before we go any further, before we look into certainty, clarity, and confusion, I just want you to establish as best as you can where your worth lives. And if that feels tricky for you today, I want you to just imagine a spot underneath your ribs, a yellow light, and you can borrow this. This is the solar plexus, our home of self, and I want you to imagine that there is a light that is filling up your self-worth here. That no matter what is creating confusion in you today, whether it's been a long journey or whether it's an unkind or an unfriendly comment from a friend or client that has knocked your confidence, let's just build your self-worth back up. And from this improved sense of self, from this re-established connection with self, now let's start our journey. So let's bring our focus and our awareness to a time when we have felt confused or uncertain. And perhaps this is manifested in your life as fear about a next step. And rather than reliving the scenarios, let's just think about the physical sensations in the moment. Are your shoulders tensing up? Are they coming up towards the ears? Is your chest constricting? Are those knots in the stomach coming back? And as you really focus and hone into how the body is responding, what the physical response is, now pay attention to the nuances of how you actually feel, what the emotional response is. Are you feeling overwhelmed, helpless? How does confusion and uncertainty manifest in you? Now, as you move through the mental state, let's come through to that. Are your thoughts racing? Are you stuck on a loop? Is this creating a mental fog? Try and look at the information that's been presented to you objectively. So rather than seeing all of these parts of you and how you feel about them right now, look at them as though they were one step away, like they were the weather in the sky or an object right in front of you. Visualize yourself as a wind that can simply blow through change and remove any of the effects confusion or uncertainty is making in your life. Perhaps create a change of temperature as the sun comes in. Or perhaps a clear water. Imagine yourself in an open and expansive body of water. As you sit still, you realize that the fog of confusion was sitting on top of a calm, clear, still water this whole time. As you look towards the shore, you realize there are people, spirit, friends, guides on the side of the shore who have always had you in sight, who never experienced your fog, your uncertainty. They always saw you clearly in the middle of this water. there is a deep sense of connection, of protection, of safety. That even though you were not in control of the fog, there were many parts that were true and trusted. That next time you feel a fog roll over, you will remember you were safely watched at shore. Your certainty was always there under the surface. And if you can just bring your emotions, your body and your mind back to this place, you will be able to re-establish that connection with your certainty. You are becoming more familiar with certainty over confusion. You are becoming more aware of certainty rather than relying on clarity. That you are able to trust in what you know, even if you can't see. That taking one step forward and feeling stable, grounded, and certain is a far greater and more valuable feeling and experience to you as you navigate growth. That you will remember that one grounded, true, authentic step is better for your energy than running towards a fictional goal. Perhaps this motion, this pace will change in time. But now, as you are embracing growth, as you are learning to read your inner GPS in times of uncertainty, you are enjoying the slowness and the truth it emulates in your life. If you were taking those double inhales, you can release them now. We'll move into a moment of meditation, of contemplation. What felt true to you in today's practice? Was there an idea that you wanted to hold on to? Is there a place you know you are growing? Silently ask yourself, What can you do today to create more clarity in your everyday life? Then, as that awareness comes in, bring your focus back to your intention. Feel or establish a connection to your certainty. And as you do so, place one hand, either is fine, onto your heart. Thank yourself for going through today's practice. Thank the information that came up and any parts of the universe, guides or friends that came to you in today's practice. You can begin to slowly open your eyes, move your body. I hope that today's practice brought you a step closer to that feeling of certainty. Remember that clarity, while it is amazing, there are points in our lives where we simply are not in a position to have all of the answers. Instead, let's lean back on what we are sure of and what we know is true. Thank you for practicing with me today. If this practice resonated with you, I would be so grateful if you left a review. And if a review isn't for you today, please think about who you could share this practice with, who could benefit from it. The more that we grow the community, the more we help people, and the better we make the world. Why not? Why not think like that? So thank you as always, and I'll see you on the next episode.